Since the next one has some numbers on it, and I'm only going to be on it for 2 seconds, jump over. So I just want to put this up because it shows the kind of evidence of us and how we're improving. So this is the number of girls we've got coming into computing at different levels. What I'm going to talk about, my title there was Change Everything, because I think it's really, really important to understand there is no magic bullet. It's not about fixing, like changing some posters. It's about changing everything, okay? And to be honest, I've spent so long listening to people ask, oh, how do I get more girls in? How do I get more girls in? And I keep going, well, what are you doing? And they'll say, oh, I've changed a poster. And that's not enough, or I've changed some language in our PowerPoint. So I just wanted to show those numbers because you can see a massive increase since we started really working on targeting the girls. I should point out, although this is just a list of girls, everything I am saying here is going to specifically say it brings in everybody. Our numbers in general have climbed. Most of the stuff we're doing is helpful for dyslexics, it's helpful for all cultures, it's helpful for bringing girls in, and it doesn't actually affect our bread and butter geeks, okay? Our coders are still going to come, and if you were here last time, you would have heard Angus had talked about the fact that I was forcing him into socialising, and actually I think it's really, really, really important for our standard coders. I like to call them kind of bread and butter geeks of our department. They're so important to actually be interacting with lots of different people. So I think when the classroom's full of colour, everybody gains, okay? And I think some of the stuff that I'm going to say will help. I am going to try and rush, but I'm going to try not to go too fast because I know we've just got a tiny amount of time. So jump on to the next slide, and I can give numbers out another time if people would like to. Right, some of the things, it's going to sound a bit patronising, okay? I don't really care. I'm a raging feminist. I'm going to actually say all this stuff, and you know what? Just accept it. So, but in our department, we deliberately have changed lots and lots of things. We've got lots of really colourful notice boards. We have a whole kind of section of women in tech, a whole kind of board of women in tech, and it's got all the wee quotes. It's got women from supermodels who are programmers to CEOs of IBM. Okay, she's no longer a CEO of IBM, but we've got quotes of all these women, and there's loads of it. But on top of that, all of our notice boards, I deliberately did a quick wee head count today, looking at the kind of numbers that are around the thing. So between all the department notice boards and the classroom, we have 19 women. This is not including that wall of women. This is just every other notice board. We have 19 women, 3 men, one of those is a criminal, a female robot, a drag queen, who, by the way, if you're ever interested, follow Analytical. She is amazing. She's a drag queen that uses makeup to talk about programming and to teach programming. Anyway, and then we have Cookie Monster, who I think does not have a gender. Okay, can't be sure about that. Anyway, so that's the kind of number of faces we have on the wall. So 19 women and 3 men. It's already showing that there's more women around. But we'd like to keep them updated and interesting. We use, this sounds really daft, but do you know what? This is for everybody. Please, kind of computing teachers, please take down those, and I'm sorry if you have these, but those 2001 ICT posters, right, with the CRT monitors and things, they're not interesting. Bring in some excitement, bring in some colour, right? You'll see a wee picture on that screen of a giant wall that my colleague has. He got a class to make us 60 seconds of the internet, and he used SVG, and he used, they built all this. So it's a pupils' wall. We use all the things like SVG work. We use that to actually make the classes interesting and colourful, and it's pupils' work. So on top of that, we have books. We have lots of women in tech books, or the girls who code. I can't remember her name. Someone else will probably remember her name. The person who writes those books. We've got them in the school library. Okay, so we make sure that everywhere they see it, girls can code, right? So this is all the very light-hearted stuff. It's the kind of first things you want to do. Tomorrow morning, go in and take that poster down, for the love of goodness. The last bullet point there is attitude and passion. I was at an Education Scotland event about how to get girls into computing. And one of the things they turned around and said was, take down those Star Trek posters. And I just went, what? I went, no, put those Star Trek posters back up, but going to make sure it's Uhura and Captain Janeway. So change the posters, yes, but make sure that you actually show that you've got a passion and you're excited. I have Batman everywhere. I've got Wonder Woman, Tomb Raider everywhere in my classroom. I literally wear my geekness on my chest, like literally, okay? I am, and the same with my colleague, he's not maybe into the comic books, but he loves the subject. The kids know that, right? The kids feel that from them. And that really affects everybody, okay? So this whole stuff is all really about bringing everyone into computing, and it will bring the girls in. This is your standard stuff, same idea. Using women and making sure your presentations are all clean and interesting. I have, I say we, okay? It's a department. We have worked together, and we make sure that, for example, when we're talking about high-level languages, we've got a whole slide for Grace Hopper. We talk about her. Do you mean whenever I'm introducing a topic, I talk about people like her. I was teaching S1s about systems, and we were talking about Ada Lovelace and what she did. Make sure you include these people in your lessons. We've actively removed more or less all the boys from our presentations. You'll see a wee server slide there. We made sure it's a woman who's dealing with the servers. That stuff, it doesn't sound like much, and it isn't much unless you include it with everything else. Okay, so and that wee daft women who code joke, I have them around the place, and it's about the fact that that little joke there, okay, doesn't actually put boys off, but the language in it does help bring kind of girls. It makes girls kind of see their names being used or seeing the word she being used a little bit more often. Okay, that is not the fix for everything, as I keep saying, but it all just helps. That's just a bunch of photos, because over the last few years, the biggest thing that I think, on top of all the other stuff, something that I think has really helped the girls specifically focused is coming into computing, is actually the focus events. Throughout the last few years, we have brought speakers in. In fact, there's at least one of those speakers that are here tonight. So we've brought speakers in. We have done tons of events. I mean, I do multiple kind of like little fun girl days, okay? I would 100%, anybody out there, please, I would do two things. The Cyber First Girls in February, the girls love that. And this year, even during lockdown, every single girl who did that had took computing, okay? So that just tells you, it's brilliant fun, it's a good laugh, but it also encourages the other teachers to talk to the girls about what they're doing in computing. And I can explain what I mean by that another time, or if anyone wants to ask. I'm also using the boys who do the Digital World HQ, so that's Craig stealing things. We use their fantastic little hackathons all the time. And what I do is I bring and have a specific girl-focused one. So I have the girls in there, and then we have a good laugh, and it is fun, okay? We enjoy it. It's all little different things where you can target the girls. I also have a group of the senior school, so fourth year up to sixth year. I've got a group of the girls who we have got through computing, and they come and help. So, for example, when the business teachers are having to teach Python for the S2s, we get the seniors, or we're going to be getting seniors in this year to help them and support them with that. Okay. So as I said, it's about using all these different tactics, and when I'm getting those girls, it means I can target them and I can talk to them. And some of them came to computing because suddenly there's money, right? I told them how much money was in cybersecurity and all this thing, and they're like, oh, now I want to come and join cyber. I want to come and join it now. So but some of them are just because they like it or they're interested, but it gives you a chance to actually talk to the girls, okay? And the very last bullet point is, it is not a one-off. Okay, I want to make that very clear. And if we ended up going back to the first slide, you would have seen that last year the numbers did actually drop, and that's because I couldn't do the events. Okay, so that is where you can see you have to keep working on it. Okay, so change everything is what my feedback is to it. And if you want in, feel free to come and give us a shout. I see Tony's put the Cyber First Girls in the chat. I would do it. It's 100% worth it. It's not easy though. Thank you.